This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Africa. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east, symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second, standard DVB AS2, modulation 8 PSK, audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm your host Elena Enake, bringing you the news. But first, let's take a quick look at the weather picture. It's nice and warm across the country with maximum temperatures ranging from 24 to 34 degrees Celsius. The noon reading in Bucharest was 28 degrees. And now the news, the headlines. The Bucharest government will have all public institutions give up Russian antivirus software. Romania's natural gas stock will exceed by the end of the week the minimum level of 80% set by the European Commission. More than 2.3 million Ukrainians fleeing war have taken refuge in the neighboring Romania. And Romania's top 2 football sides are playing in Europa Conference League's groups today. The Romanian government has passed a draft law on protecting the IT systems of public authorities and institutions in the context of the Russian invasion in Ukraine. Thus, the government will have all central and local authorities replace the Russian antivirus software and apps for fear it may be used as spying tool by Moscow. The draft law, initiated by the Ministry of Research and Innovation, is in line with similar decisions taken by countries like Germany and Italy, which have decided to replace the Kaspersky antivirus software used by public authorities in order to prevent any cyber attacks from Russia. The European Commission has asked member states to reduce electricity consumption by at least 5% during peak hours and to cut down demand by at least 10% by next March. In her Wednesday speech on the State of the EU held in the European Parliament's plenary in Strasbourg, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen proposed a cap on the revenues of companies producing electricity with low costs and a deep and comprehensive reform of the electricity market. Europe's solidarity with Ukraine will remain unshakable, the European official said. Today, the European Commission President is on a working visit to Kyiv. This is Ursula von der Leyen's third visit to this country since the Russian invasion on February 24. She will have meetings with President Volodymyr Zelensky and Prime Minister Denis Mihal to discuss how to continue bringing the Ukrainian and European economies and people closer together as Ukraine moves towards EU membership. Russia continues to bomb the Ukrainian territory. Authorities in Zaporozhye and Kharkov have announced that missile attacks were launched overnight. On Wednesday, President Zelensky visited the newly liberated Izium in the northeastern region of Kharkiv after the country's forces recaptured the city. He told journalists he was shocked by the number of destroyed buildings and killed people left in the wake of the Russian occupation. Ukraine's counteroffensive has liberated 8,000 square kilometers of territory, the Ukrainian president said. The Romanian border police has announced that almost 81,000 people entered Romania on Wednesday. Of them, 11,000 are Ukrainian citizens, up 15.7% as compared to the previous day. More than 2.3 million Ukrainian citizens have crossed the border into Romania since February 10, most of them heading towards Western Europe. Romania's gas stocks for the winter will exceed by the end of this week the minimum level of 80% set by the European Commission, Energy Minister Virgil Popescu has announced. According to Minister Popescu, Romania has enough stocks to get through winter, although there will be a complicated period in the entire EU, with uncertainties related to Russian gas supplies. Virgil Popescu said the new ordinance on capping the price of energy could be modified to support people whose life depends on oxygen devices that use a lot of energy and thus exceed the ceiling set by the law in force. The government has also announced it considers granting bonuses to those who want to save energy. Romania's football champion CFR Cluj is today up against the Turkish side Sivasspor on home turf in a match in Europa Conference League Group E. CFR Cluj and Sivasspor each have 1 point after the matches in the first stage. Also today, Romania's vice-champion FCSB is taking on Anderlecht Brussels in Bucharest in the European Conference League Group B. In the first group stage, FCSB was defeated by West Ham United 1-3, while Anderlecht beat Silkeborg 1-0. Thousands of people are waiting in endless queues to enter Westminster Hall and pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II. The coffin of Britain's longest reigning monarch left Buckingham Palace for the last time on Wednesday. The late Queen's son, King Charles III, marched together with his siblings and sons behind the coffin in a 38-minute-long procession to Westminster Hall. The Queen will lie in state until her funeral at Westminster Abbey on Monday. Representing Romania at the funeral will be President Klaus Iohannis, Princess Margareta, custodian of the Romanian crown, and Prince Consort Radu. And that was the news coming to you from Bucharest, Radio Romania International.